Owned by Mr. and Mrs. R. Austin. Read by Mr. and Mrs. L. Watson. Sire, champion Moken Cyclone, Dam Spartan's Glory. CCs obtained at the following: Staffordshire Bull Terrier Club in 1983 under Gerald Westwood, at Bath in 1984 under J. Bird, Three Counties 1984 under J. Monks, and at Leicester 1984 under F. Ward. Reserve CCs won. Ben Hur has also won 3 best of breeds. Ladies and gentlemen, champion Ben Hur. Is there another one there? Okay, take that away from me. Now the next one in, ladies and gentlemen, champion Allendale King. Owned by Mr. E. Britton and bred by D. and J. Small. Okay, 1 minute. Sire, champion Skeen Dew, Dam, Brigland, Tamarisk. CCs as follows: Windsor, 1984, under Mr. I. McEachin. Paynton, 1984. Mrs. J. Shorrock. East of England, 1984. Mr. Brian Grattage. Leeds, 1984. Mr. Les Aspin. Bournemouth, 1984. Mr. George Downs. Welsh KC, 1984. Mr. R. Gadsden. SKC, 1984. Mr. R. Hill. Darlington, 1984. Mr. W. Morley. East Midlands Staffordshire Bull Terrier Club, 1984. Mr. W. Pinches. Driffield, 1984. Mr. F. Wall. National Terrier, 1985. Mrs. C. Sutton. Welks, 1985. Mr. J. Bolton. Welsh Kennel Club, 1985. Mr. T. Rowe. Champion Allendale King has won 3 reserve CCs. He was top Stafford in 1984, represented all terriers at the Show of Champions 1985. Pedigree Chum Champion Stakes winner at SKC. Best of breeds and best in shows, the incredible figure of 87. He has had 3 group wins and 1 reserve group win. Champion Allendale King. He should have walked up and down the mat. What? For God's sake, don't get moving. Next in the ring today, champion X-Staff Tuxedo Warrior, owned by Mr. R. Cook, bred by B&S Dootson. Sire, Rendorn the Mighty Quinn, Dam, X-Staff Fiery Angel. He received his CCs as follows: SKC 1984, Mr. W. Hunter. Western Staffordshire Bull Terrier Club 1984, Mr. T. Fletcher. Staffordshire Bull Terrier Club 1984, Mr. P. Wilkinson. X-Staff Tuxedo Warrior also has 1 reserve CC and has obtained 3 best of breeds. Ladies and gentlemen, champion X-Staff Tuxedo Warrior. Where's the card? What's it done? I want another card, please. All right, yeah, you should have told me before because I didn't know what I was doing. Okay. The next champion, Champion Belle Hurricane Duchess, owned by Mr. W. Francis, bred by Mr. D. Eddy. Sire, Champion Skeen Dew. Dam, Piper Knoll Gypsy. CC's awarded at Darlington in 1983 under Mr. George Downs. Manchester 94 under Mrs. Dorothy Berry. Belle Hurricane Duchess has 1 reserve CC. Ladies and gentlemen, Belle Hurricane.
Next champion is champion Witchaven Charlie Boy, Mr. and Mrs. F. Gap, bred by Messrs. Gwilt and Westwood. Champion Condonal Bed.
Three Counties 1981, Mrs. N. Bolton. South Wales KC 1982, Mrs. C. Lee. Bath 1983, Mrs. J. Shorrock. Champion Wychavon Charlie Boy has 2 reserve CCs and has obtained 2 best of breeds. Ladies and gentlemen, champion Wychavon Charlie Boy. Owned by Mr. and Mrs. B. Grattage, bred by the exhibitor. Sire, champion Black Tusker, dam, Carjobri Precious. CCs obtained as follows. Crufts 1981, Mr. L. Hemstock. Paynton 1981, Mr. E. Pringle. Richmond 1981, Mr. J. Parsons. Champion Carjobri Black Pepper has 5 reserve CCs and has obtained 3 best of breeds. Ladies and gentlemen, Carjobri Black Pepper. Next champion, champion Carjobri Pure Silk, owned by Mr. and Mrs. B. Grattage, bred by exhibitors. Sire, champion Pegs Bolton Trip, dam, Carjobri Penny Black. CCs obtained at Leeds in 1984 under Mr. L. Aspin, Northwest Staffordshire Bull Terrier Club 1984 under Mr. N. Wotton, and Welks 1985 under Mr. J. Bolton. Champion Carjobri Pure Silk has obtained 3 reserve CCs. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you champion Carjobri Pure Silk. Kenstaff, owned by Mr. and Mrs. F. Goff, bred by Mr. and Mrs. M. Henderson. Sire, Mercian Turk. Dam, Miriam of Mercia. CCs obtained as follows. SKC 1981 under Mr. B. Bennett. Windsor 1981 under Mr. S. Dangerfield. Bath 1982 under Mr. Derek Smart. Champion Bodger of Kenstaff has obtained 25 best of breeds and 2 reserve best in shows. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you champion Bodger of Kenstaff. Next in the ring, champion Jollyhem Wildfire, owned by Mr. L. Hemstock, bred by exhibitor. Sire, champion Jakartan Royal Tan, dam, Bodicea of Jollyhem. CCs obtained as follows. Southern Counties K9 1984 under Mr. J. Parsons. Birmingham 1984, Mr. H. Dunn. East of England 1984 under Mr. B. Grattage. Midland Counties 1984, Mr. A. Mitchell. National Terrier 1985, Mrs. Sitton. 3 Counties 1985, Mr. F. Burford. Champion Jollyhem Wildfire has obtained 3 reserve CCs. Ladies and gentlemen, champion Jollyhem Wildfire. Next we have, in the ring, champion Lawbury Cadiz Kid, owned by Mr. and Mrs. Teal, bred by exhibitors. Sire, champion Bitfighter Dark Duke, dam, Hazelberry Go-Go. CCs obtained as follows. Northern Counties Staffordshire Bull Terrier Club 1981 under Mr. N. Berry. Belfast 1981 under Mr. I. Dunn. Southern Counties 1981 under Mr. W. Alexander. Champion Lawbury Cadiz Kid has received 3 reserve CCs and best of breeds and best in shows, 8 in total. Ladies and gentlemen, champion Lawbury Cadiz Kid. Champion, all right. Subject kennel club confirmation. The next we have in the ring is champion Yankee Staff Bolivar, owned by Major T and Mrs. N. Malik, and bred by Major T and Mrs. N. Malik. Sire, Kerrisdale Thiedeman. Dam, Astaff Claire's Cassandra. CCs obtained as follows. 3 Counties 1983 under Mr. B. Cadogan. Bournemouth 1983 under Mr. T. Rowe. South Wales 1984 under Mrs. A. Gettenby. Crufts 1984 under Mr. V. Pounds. Manchester 1984 under Mrs. D. Berry. Yankee Staff Bolivar has obtained 6 reserve CCs and 4 best of breeds, plus 1 reserve Green Star. Ladies and gentlemen, champion Yankee Staff Bolivar. Next we have champion Yankee Staff Serendipity, handled by Mr. Malcolm Allsop, owned by Major T and Malik, bred by exhibitors. Sire, champion Yankee Staff Bolivar. Dam, champion Anser Fairy Lass. CCs obtained as follows: LKA 1983, Mrs. B. Westwood. Northwest Staffordshire Bull Terrier Club 1984, Mrs. B. Smith. East Anglia Staffordshire Bull Terrier Club 1984, Mr. I. Dunn. SKC 1984, Mr. W. Reserve CCs, total 1 best in show and 1 10-point Green Star. Ladies and gentlemen, champion is obtained as follows: Staffordshire Bull Terrier Club 1984 under Mr. P. Wilkinson. LKA 1984 under Mr. D. Smart. Crufts 1985 under Mrs. C. Lee. Champion Spadil Midnight Lace has obtained 1 reserve CC. Ladies and gentlemen, champion Spadil Midnight Lace. Champion Teutonic Warrior, owned by Mr. D. Rivenberg and Mrs. J. Sharrock, bred by Mr. D. Rivenberg. Sire, Ashtock Wild Colonoi. Dam, Regal Princess. CCs obtained as follows: Bournemouth 1982 under Mr. D. Gilmore. Windsor 1983 under Mr. T. Horner. Belfast 1984 under Mr. N. Berry. Reserve CCs, 3 in total. Has received 6 best of breeds and 2 best in shows. Once best terrier and once reserve best terrier. Ladies and gentlemen, champion Tutorial. G. Westwood. Champion Eastaf Guardian has received 1 reserve CC and 4 best of breeds, plus 1 reserve best terrier. Ladies and gentlemen, champion Eastaf Guardian. Next in the ring, champion Nethertonian Stormtrooper, by Mr. and Mrs. G. Westwood, bred by exhibitors. Sire, champion Kaluki Duke. Dam, champion Nethertonian Tweedledee. CCs obtained as follows: Staffordshire Bull Terrier Club 1981 under Mr. H. Dunn. Southern Counties 1982 under Mr. J. Bolton. Manchester 1983 under Mr. A. Tittle. Reserve CCs obtained, 5 in all, with 2 best of breeds. Ladies and gentlemen, champion Nethertonian Stormtrooper. Arcturus, thank you. And it's Bigland Arcturus, thank you. Next champion in the ring is champion Brigland Arcturus, owned by Mrs. B. Whitehouse, bred by exhibitor. Sire, champion Scarthwaite Coachman. Dam, Brigland Adversary. CCs obtained as follows: LKA 1979 under Mr. D. Wilts. Border Union 1980 under Mr. N. Berry. Windsor 1980 under Mr. T. Fletcher. Welsh KC 1980 under Mr. George Downs. Darlington 1980 under Mr. J. Miller. Belfast 1980 under Mr. M. Bone. Pottery Staffordshire Bull Terrier Club 1981, Mr. A. Harkness. Bournemouth 1981 under Mr. T. Horner. Driffield 1981 under Mr. R. Gadsden. Crufts 1982 under Mr. H. Latham. Reserve CCs obtained, 10 in total, with 6 best of breeds and 1 reserve terrier group. Ladies and gentlemen, champion Arcturus. This is the latest champion in the breed, is it? Champion Tondu Miss Moonshine. Now we have, subject to Kennel Club approval, the latest champion in the breed became a champion yesterday. Champion Tondu Miss Moonshine. Owned by Mr. T. Jones and bred by exhibitor. Sire, Grinnell's Black Tuscana. Dam, ladies and gentlemen.